Hello, everybody. My name is Melina. I arrived here on Friday. I'm delighted to be here. And I have a project called Sustainable Stand-Up. And this is a really nice form of stand-up comedy. I really like people like Jon Stewart and John Oliver who talk about important things in sort of a nice way, yeah? And I got so tired of going to open mic sets and having, it's usually guys coming up and saying, I hate myself, I hate you, I don't want to fuck you. Good night, and they leave. And it's horrible, right? So I thought, how can we create a stand-up comedy that is infused with love? So instead of leaking fear, we leak love. That's what we're working on. So this past weekend, I've been working with 3 amazing guys that I'm like totally in love with them on a platonic level now. They are awesome. Thank you. And they're just delightful. And your job tonight is to show them love, because they're going to show you love in a tasteful way. They're going to show you love. So let's practice. So every time one of them comes up on stage, we want to hear loud, loving applause. So I'm going to practice. I'm going to pretend I'm one of them now, okay? Imagine me with a beard and a mustache, because all 3 of them have that. Okay, so pretending I'm one of the acts. Beautiful. You guys are doing this really well. Okay, so are you ready?
Yeah.
You're very excited. I split breath technique and it's only 5 minutes. Okay, so please welcome to the stage a really lovely, gentle guy, Angers.
Hey. Hey. I'm a Slovenian of the night. My name is Angers, and I am a graphic designer. So honestly, I do not know why I actually decided to study graphic design, but I suspect that it has something to do with me being partially creative and partially wanting to have control over things. I have slight OCD. I have this very neat
Work surface
where I put my pens in line, and then I take my rubber and I like to align my rubber next to the pens, and the position of my rubber depends of the length of my pencils. And I have also one other thing that I like to put next to my rubber and my pencils, and it's a toy. It represents a tofu, like food. So it's a very sad tofu toy, and it reminds me a little bit of myself. So recently I got a feeling that I don't want to make visual design anymore. It doesn't make me happy. So I would like to shift into the field of human-centered design, because I would like to work with people and for people. I would like to put design and human back into design, because I love people and I love myself. So when I was in Poland, I really needed help, and I was there as a part of a student exchange program. I had this really awesome project where I would take a picture of the food that I ate, and then I would take a picture of the shit that I made. So it was a really awesome project. So one day, it was contemporary piece. One day, I was like working on my project, and then I stood up and I looked down into the toilet, and what I saw, it really freaked me out. I suspected that there is some blood in my diarrhea. So usually when people bleed inside is rarely a good thing, right? So I went to the hospital, and on the way to the hospital, I thought, okay, this is gonna be easy, and I was so wrong. I went to the nurse, and I told her in English, sorry, well, I have blood in my diarrhea, and she was like, sorry, I don't understand you. And she called up the second nurse. And this time I tried to explain it half in Polish, because I knew the word blood in Polish, and half in Slovenian, because I didn't know the Polish word for poop. So I said, okay, mam ker w blatu. And it didn't work either. So they called another nurse. And this time I thought, okay, maybe I will try it in German, you know, because Polish and German share some history. And at this point I was very thankful to my high school German teacher, because of all of the words that I remember the most was the German word for diarrhea. So I told them that mam ker v durfal. Unfortunately, this didn't work either. So here I am standing in the Polish hospital, talking to a bunch of nurses, trying to explain that I have blood in my shit. And one of them had this idea that, okay, let's go behind the counter, behind the computer. They set up the Google Translate, and I started to type in, and I realized that who would know that diarrhea is so hard to spell? Because, of course, translation did not bear any fruit. So, finally, a doctor came by, and everybody was, please help us. We have this guy. We know that he's bleeding somewhere. He's bleeding, but we don't know where. Can you help us? And the doctor was, okay, so what's your problem? And I finally said, like the last time, I said, I have blood in my diarrhea. And the doctor was, oh, sraczka. Everybody there was like, oh yeah, of course. Why didn't you tell us? So what I want to say is, the point of my story is that not that the Polish public service is poorly designed, but that it's just a note to myself that how the hell am I gonna explain to people what the human design is, human-centered design is, if I cannot even explain to them that I have about my own shit. Thank you.
Cool. So to learn this weekend, what we did is we combined improv and stand-up. So we did a lot of improvisation techniques to be at ease on stage when we're learning the stand-up, because again, we want to leak love and not fear. And so this evening, what's going to happen is we're going to have half the stand-ups. We're going to have the stand-ups that we had in the class, and then we're going to switch to an improv set, just so you have the two. You can feel the two. So now that you all are quiet again, what I'm going to do is invite you to please welcome to the stage the delightful Ethan.
I'm just like, this is so good. I feel so smart, I'm really happy, I'm satisfied, I'm like, but it is 2 o'clock, so I'm gonna go back to sleep before the morning, properly comes. So I'll go back to sleep. I wake up, and of course, I don't remember a thing. I'm very, very annoyed at myself for this. I'm a bit, it's kind of frustrating to lose the meaning of life, so I make sure that this little notebook and pen next to the bed. So just in case, all of the future I now have potential in case another dream ever happens to happen. And thankfully at one point it did. It was really intense this time, super potent. It was like, Ethan, you really fucked this up the last time, get it right. Spelled out the entire meaning again, really slowly, and then I woke up and I was like, oh, okay, I had this sense of urgency, I needed to write it down. So I went over to the notebook, I wrote it down, and I was like, yes, this time I have it, and I went to bed, snug as a bug in a rug. So then I woke up again, and delighted with myself for having the wherewithal to write it down. I looked in the notebook to find the meaning of life. 2 words. Clown car. And a drawing of a regular car. Speaking of clown cars, though, as you do, there is this clown car in Slovenia I saw at one point. This is actually a great deal of stress for me in seeing this. There's this van with a clown owns it. Not like clowns coming out of the car, just this picture of the guy's face on the side, and it's designed really terribly. You can't really tell what he's doing, but he's advertising himself. He's driving around. And I don't know if you guys have ever watched someone do something really badly, like cooking or something, and you're like, oh no, you get it wrong. But I have this when I see, a lot of designers will see this and think, all of the decisions on this design was wrong. It was upsetting for me to see it. It upsets me because it was bad and unclear, and it upsets me most because you can picture this clown, like half in his outfit, on the computer or talking to a designer, basically like, oh yeah, I'll just put my face on the side of this lawn there, aren't you good? Let's have the sparkle effect. Oh, instead of tech, let's make it all rainbow. You know what, let's make everything rainbow. So I'm there kind of feeling this kind of cringe, pity, this awful sensation of I want to help, but he doesn't want to help, does he? I don't know. I'm getting really wrapped up in this, getting strung up. I don't know how to describe this. Then I get even more annoyed at myself. We're like, who am I to judge this clown, He's got his life going on at the moment. He's got his clown costume, he's got his clown car or van with his face on it. He knows where he is in life. And I guarantee you, I've overthought more than he's thought about the entire thing at this point. I started to realize, if I could just not overthink, this much, then maybe I will find my way in terms of where I'm supposed to be, and perhaps one day I'll have my own clown car.
Is this okay? So, can you see why I fell in love with them this weekend? Yeah. Cool. Okay. So, last at your.
You should turn the poster so they can see it.
Oh, so they can see it. I think we could get that little kid right there. Cool. So, please welcome the last stand-up act of the evening. We have Thomas. Thomas, come on up here.
My name is Thomas. I come from Finland. I want this to be a house full of love. I want this room to be completely filled with yum. I think it's possible.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you're here. Martin Luther King said, the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And so, if we are on a journey towards an ever more loving place, let's go there now. Why wait? I picture this room full of hugging and kissing and making out. Maybe someone will come in and that's what are you doing? And we will say, because it's nice to have a story. To have a logic. To be able to say, what are you doing? When I was a child, we had a game. It was called Ryska Posten. It means Russian mail or Russian post in Swedish. And in this game, one person would be outside the room, knocking on the door, and the people inside would ask, who is this? And the person would say, it's Ryska Posten. And then this person would go in the room and was allowed to kiss anybody in the room. I want more games like these. A game is like a support structure for cultivation. When I'm learning how to ride a bike, I can have support wheels. If I am planting a flower, I can put the stick in the ground in the beginning. And then, maybe after a while, I don't need the support wheels, or the stick, or the Ryska Posten. So I have invented a new game for us. It's called the Yes Game. In this game, whenever there is something positive that you feel like doing, you can do it. And if somebody asks you, what are you doing? You can say, I am playing the Yes Game. I was this Finnish guy. It's alright. So if anybody here feels like taking your clothes off and have intercourse, or maybe give a compliment, it's okay. We are all gardeners. Whatever we support, we will have. Thank you.